Hello, welcome and welcome back to this channel. If you are returning, thank you so much for joining today. In this video, I am going to discuss the application process for NURSE CORP Scholarship application. They actually have this program every year. The application window is typically between March, like second week of March, through May 1st. So those are the typical timelines. Let's go ahead and get into the detail. Hello. Well, we're going to have an intermission at the beginning of this video. And it's just to cover our legal ramifications, and that is going to be a disclaimer that will appear on the screen, and I'm just going to read the disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this video are my own, which are not directed at a specific entity or party and do not reflect the views or opinions of any affiliates, corporations, employers, institutions, or organizations. Now that we have that out the way, let's get into the video. So this particular program is, by HRSA, which is the bhw.hrsa.gov. And as you can see here, this is the direct link. The best thing I would recommend is go to Google and type in NURSE CORP Scholarship Program. You'll get down to the bottom here and you'll see it's not a sponsored link. It is the true NURSE CORP program site. So when you click on that, it will bring you here and it actually explains, the minimum information as far as, yes, NURSE CORP will pay 100% for your tuition. It pays your fees, it pays your uniform, it pays for books, everything that your school itemized on the invoice, NURSE CORP will pay for. You have to get really good and close with your business office account specialist, as well as financial aid, to ensure that those invoices and that itemized statement actually mentions uniforms, lab kits, all of those things, clinical bag that have all of our goodies for as nursing students. As you can see here, who is eligible, any born naturalized U.S. citizen, or even if you've lawfully obtained that as a resident, you must be accepted and have a start date, like completely enrolled into an accredited School of Nursing program. Your classes cannot begin later than September 30th. So what that means for those that are on a quarter-based nursing school, your class that you are applying for the Nurse Scholarship Program must start, the first day must start before September 30th. They do have some other things that they do. They run your credit report. You must not have any federal, basically you're not behind on your financial aid. If this is your second or third degree, you don't have any liens like financial aid type, not paying your student loans. If you're in that situation, call them now. Go ahead and get on some sort of payment program so it won't be considered that you have any type of federal judgment liens or you're not doing well with your federal debt. That's the only reason why they do pull your credit report, a part of the background check. Okay, so also what I would say here is they have this application guide, which is extremely helpful. So when you click on that, you go to this screen here. And what I'm going to do is start off with the actual degrees that they will pay for within nursing. So as you can see, they will take an associate's degree nurse program. Also, they will take, of course, your BSN, or it has the different variations, as long as it's a bachelor's degree nursing that is accredited. And then this particular program, opposite of the VA HPSP, they will accept a diploma program. So as I stated in a previous video, some hospitals and universities or community colleges have a partnership with hospitals that actually have diploma degrees where you're receiving a registered nurse license. You can sit for the registered nurse licensure program. License exam. However, the degree you're receiving is just a diploma equivalent to like a high school or GED type of diploma. So this program will pay for that. As you can see here, they also have the bridge program. So for those who are already have an associate's degree and you're doing a bridge, or you have a diploma degree and you're doing a bridge program to BSN, they will pay for that. They also would pay for direct entry nursing programs as well as just the master's. Now, as they have bolded here, to be eligible for the direct entry master program, meaning you do not have a bachelor's degree and you're going straight in as a MSN, but you will be the first part of that program. You will be taking the necessary classes for the NCLEX. Those classes in that period, they will not pay for. They will not pay for the period of the DE MSN program that covers your NCLEX. After that, so let's say you've completed it, you passed your NCLEX, you're about to start taking your Master's of Science of Nursing portion. And as you can see, they actually even go beyond just the portion, but they go beyond to the nurse practitioner portion as well. If you're about to start that or enrolled and you have classes coming up for that, you can apply for the NURSE CORP because they will pay for it, but they will not pay for that RN portion. Okay. And as we stated before, the classes must start before September 30th of the year that you are pursuing. So this application packet guidance was for 24 to 25. Like I stated, they will open up the programs for this coming year, 25 to 26. More than likely won't open up until that March 1st through the 15th. So this is like the entire, you see it's 43 pages. So it talks about what they pay for. Again, the stipend here is a little over $1,500. And they also have the reasonable, uniform, supplies, books, those things. They do have your service obligation. So being that they are paying for this, you have to do a 2-year minimum of service obligation, but it will be no longer than 2 years. So with them, depending on, let's say you've already started your accelerated bachelor's degree program, and it's an 18-month program, but you are applying for this and you're in the 6th month of that 18 months. If they only pay for that 12 months of that 18-month program, then your service obligation will be adjusted. It won't be 2 years of service because they only paying for 12 months of school. So that's where that whole no more than 12 years, but they will, even if you have to do the full 4 years, they will pay for it all. And you only have 2-year obligation. So that's the beauty part of that. And what I will say is this particular application or this particular scholarship will cover West Coast University, Chamberlain University. I'm just going to say Penn State. I know that's one that is extremely expensive. Like I know Penn State, some Christian universities, they are private and are in a higher bracket, such as 90,000 to plus, like 100 and something thousand. They will pay for that. So let's say, I know with Chamberlain and West Coast, when you apply, even if you have 5 prereqs that you still have to take, Chamberlain will give you a letter and you are considered a nursing student during those general education courses because it's so accelerated. The same thing with Chamberlain. The difference with Chamberlain and West Coast is Chamberlain University actually mixed them in. So you may take professional nursing with human physiology. So yeah, they mixed the entire thing in. And so Chamberlain was the university that actually told me about the 2 scholarship programs. It was the actual admission advisor, and they were willing to write my recommendation letters. So that's just the plug there for them. But as you can see here, one thing that I wanted to highlight on this page is they have here all components of the Nursing Scholarship Award are taxable. What does that mean? So if we go back up to this funding here, you're getting a little over $1,500 a month for a living stipend. They're paying for uniforms, supplies, books, tuition, any other fees, all fees. So let's say you go with that Chamberlain, and I think Chamberlain, if you come straight in from high school type of thing, it may be $105,000, or let's just say $110,000. They will pay for that entire $110,000, and if it takes you 4 years, you could do 4 years times, 48 months times 1,500. That entire fee there. So we got 120,000, and let's say we have 72,000 for stipend. That's 48 months at 1,500 a month. That is close to $200,000. And what they mean by this is, let's say you right now only make $30,000 a year. Well, as they pay the $18,000 for the stipend in the year, and as they pay the $50,000 for Chamberlain, because I think it's a 3.5 year, depending on what you come in at. Let's just do 4 years. So 4 years, we said 125,000. So that's roughly, I got to do the math. I can't think right now. Divided by 4. So that's 31,000. So we have 31,250 plus the other 18,000. You're adding close to $50,000 to your income on top of your $30,000 job a year. What that means is there's putting you close to $80,000 a year, which is over double, like so 70% over your income tax bracket. And so being that you're being taxed every year for $50,000 on top of your 30, that has caused some students, because I'm in the Facebook chat, that's caused some students to lose their healthcare.gov benefits. Being that they only made $30,000, they more than likely was able to get non-paid medical expenses. So health insurance that's not paid, they don't have to pay for it if they're making $30,000. But when you go up to $80,000, as you could see, more than likely you're no longer eligible. You have to pay a lot of money out of pocket, and unfortunately the students are only making 30 so a year. So that's something to consider when you're considering Nurse Corp. However, the program is still highly competitive because some people just don't mind. They just don't mind. Getting back to this, so once you meet this criteria, you also have an application that you have to complete on a portal. This portal here, BHW Service Portal. Right now, if you click on it, it will not work. But once you're in the application window, you go in, you create an account, and you start submitting all of your documentation for the application process. And so if we were to go to the application process, let me just go down here. Let's go back to that table of contents there. And we are going to click on completing an application. So what is required? You would need to create an account. They have the deadline here, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, May 2nd was the deadline. I always did a day before. So I had all my content saying the day before, just in case portal goes bad, too many people in there, you don't want to go up against the deadline. So also with this online application process, they have the condition, you have to be accepted into a program that's unconditional, and you have to be considered a full-time student. If at any time, let's say, especially with West Coast or Chamberlain, you want to make sure when your registrar office or your dean of students or the director of financial aid, whoever is submitting that academic verification or evaluation process, to say, yes, this person has received unconditional acceptance and they will be considered full-time. With programs like West Coast, sometimes they give us, only 1 or 2 classes per term. And then within that term, of course, makes a semester. Well, if you still don't reach, if your university says, oh, 12 credit hours is our full-time status, you need to make sure your academic advisor or whoever's filling out this form look at what is the potential. West Coast in a semester, sometimes you may be considered only 9 credit hours because one term had, 3 credits, and then the other term, it was just 2 classes that was worth 6 credits. Well, if your registrar office put 12 credit hours, they will not pay for that semester and say you went down a part-time, even though the program documentation stated you were considered still full-time. It was just the way the curriculum was made up. So please make a note of that, and please get with whoever's going to fill out that application verification process to say yes, you're full-time and what is considered full-time per your school. Make sure they say something that is the lowest amount of credits that's needed in your school, because it's accelerated to be considered full-time. Okay, that's a caveat that I will tell you. So that's what this full-time status mean. Background. So when you're doing your resume for this program, definitely make sure you highlight being over 40, second career student. I've had to do volunteer work at nursing homes, at hospitals, and then now I'm a volunteer at a nonprofit for allied health students. And so being in that leadership role, I showed consistent, even though I was HRIT, I've shown consistent interest in pursuing the nursing career. And that's what they want to do here. That's what they're telling you to highlight here in your resume is what's your educational background, what's, you know, your experience. And then also with this family background, they do, I think they highlight first generation college students. So first generation is if your parents did not receive a college degree. They might have attended a couple of semesters, but if they didn't complete the degree, you're still considered first generation. So make sure as you doing this background information and they ask about this, you know, your parents or whatever, make sure you highlight if they did attain the degree or if they just attended college, because you would be considered first generation. Okay, recommendations. So as you can see here, they have one recommendation that's academic and one that's non-academic. If you cannot get 2 academic, they will take 2 non-academics, but it has to be submitted by them. So they'll get their own portal link and you have to create an account and they have to submit that recommendation letter. And as you can see here, the recommendation letter must have your application ID, which you will have that as soon as you apply. You'll receive an application ID and their particular, almost like an electric business card, but then they have to sign like a PDF signature, or even if they do a wet signature, they have to sign saying, yes, that was them that actually submitted that recommendation. So this is talking about academic. They're just going into detail on that. And then your additional information is going to be, as I stated, career path applicants. And I stated this in my previous video. So career path applicant would be individuals who actually are certified nursing assistants. The funding for this particular scholarship, you have here those that are seeking to become, in women's health or OB-GYN type of specialty, as well as a certified nurse midwife. So these are things that is important for them right now for their particular funding, but they also will fund registered nurses who want to work in women's health and OB. So if you are a doula or a lactation, well, usually a doula, or you work in the birthing center because you're a lactation consultant, that's usually a registered nurse, or a registered nurse that is a associate's degree. But a doula is just a certification that you can receive similar to a medical assistant or a certified nurse assistant. So if you're going into that route and they're saying, no, I want to advance and become a registered nurse, or, advanced practitioner with women's health specialization, they have funding for that, as you can see, up to $5 million. And then the career pathways, which is anyone who is professionally certified in CNA, community health workers, behavioral health, school aid, LVN or LPN, home health aides, as well as medical assistants. So they do have the ability to highlight these particular applicants that have this. So if you do not, being that we are career changers, we are plus 40, we've been working in our careers. If you do not have a certification, Community health workers is a really good one that you could do online and for a lower rate. Medical assistants. I actually did my medical assistant at U.S. Career Institute, USCI. It was self-paced. I got it done in literally maybe 2 weeks. It's a lot of information, but I was trying to get it done. And then I started studying for the Certified Clinical Medical Assistant certification that NHA offer, which NHA partner up with USCI. So that's one that you could do online, get that certification, and then try to work at an urgent care. If you're already working Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, once you're a certified medical assistant, you can work at certain 24-hour urgent cares, more so urgent care than hospital, like emergency rooms. The emergency rooms want paramedics or, yeah, of course, registered nurses or LPNs. So that's another one that they focus on. And then this is just talking about the nursing, the advanced nurse practitioner. I'm going to share secrets of what HRSA shared with us last application cycle for the essay. And disclaimer, it's not secrets, obviously. They had it on the webinar of any applicant that was interested in the application process. I just tried to go with that. But let's go ahead and listen in on what they shared with us last application cycle as far as tips for our application for the essay.
Now we will review application tips and suggestions for your letters of recommendation and for your essay. There is one essay question. The question focuses on NURSE CORP mission of providing care for underserved communities, as well as your personal experiences and passions, and that have prepared you to work with underserved communities. In this section, you should elaborate on your experiences. You will certainly want to write about your commitment to pursuing a nursing career. Tips to consider when answering your essay question. Number 1, read the instructions carefully and be sure to address the intent of your question. Number 2, think about what you are going to write and organize your thoughts in an outline. Number 3, write your essay by elaborating on each point in your outline. Number 4, use clear, concise, and simple language throughout your essay. Number 5, read and proofread and be sure that your answer responds to the question that is being asked.
Well, this concludes the NURSE CORP application review, and I sincerely hope this has helped everyone. If you have any questions or would like a one-on-one meeting with me, please go to our blog or my blog at agelessnursing.com. Definitely just comment below as well. I definitely respond to everyone that makes comments on my videos, as well as, but if you want it like a one-on-one, you could definitely go to the blog. I'm going to make sure I post these videos on my blog as well, because as a community, we're here to talk about anything, transition from nursing to our current careers to nursing, us struggling from being over 40 and transitioning into nursing, all of those different challenges, and also sharing tips, classes that you could take within self-paced that are sciences, because our sciences are 20 years old, at a cheaper rate, but still accredited, and it may not be in your state or the community colleges, but they are still regionally accredited. Sharing all of those tips on top of these, going to nursing school for free. So on that blog, we share all types of tips with each other, and I definitely recommend you come there as well. And also, I bring those tips to this YouTube channel to ensure that we all incorporating all of our knowledge together here. So I hope this has been helpful. My apologies for it being as long as it has, and I thank you for your attention, staying on this long. Until next time, be blessed. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you on the next one.